The endless punches into the air drained every ounce of energy from my body, and still, my trainer didn't flinch. She kept her eyes fixed on my every move. Hi, I'm Audrey. And that strict woman is watching me like a hawk? That's my mom. Punch harder! Again, Audrey! Mom, I'm tired. Can I have some ice cream? Right now, I am not your mom. I am your enemy. Now punch harder! Startled, I quickly started punching the air again, just to keep her satisfied. I was raised by a mom who was very strong, rich, and super strict. She guarded top politicians for a living, but she guarded her heart even harder. She said my father was a gold digger who scammed her, and ever since, Mom hasn't trusted people. She didn't just learn Taekwondo, it was a part of her. I remember one time when we were walking home, a thief reached for her phone. In a blur, she flipped into the ground. Calm, precise, brutal. And she also wanted it to be part of me. We trained before sunrise and after sunset. No excuses, no breaks. Taekwondo became second nature, but it came with a cost. When I was 17, there was this guy in class I kinda liked. We had been eye-flirting for months. One day, he came around, and I strongly believed he wanted to ask me out.
Hey, Audrey, right? I was wondering if you wanted to...
But the moment his hand touched my shoulder, I grabbed his wrist, flipped him over my desk, and pinned him down, making everyone gape.
Okay. Wow. So, that's a no?
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. Reflex, just reflex. He nodded, but still backed away from me, just like the other frightened students.
No worries. You're cool. Just, maybe too cool for me. Yeah, I'll, text you. Or not. Probably not.
I wish I could say that was the last time, but it wasn't. Every time someone tried to touch me, even just by accident, I reacted like it was an attack. My reflexes were too sharp, too fast, too dangerous, and that made no one want to be friends with me. So one day, I decided to be brave and just tell Mom what was really going on inside me. Mom, I want to stop Taekwondo.
What nonsense are you talking about?
Because everyone's scared of me. My body reacts before I can think.
You want to quit? For friends?
Yes, I'm tired of being alone.
You don't need friends. You don't even need family. Power and money. That's all that matters.
So, you don't even need me? You don't even love me, Mom? Or am I just another disposable soldier for you? Mom didn't say a word, just turned away sharply, and I stormed out without looking back. That's right. Why would she care about a useless daughter like me? After that day, we hardly saw eye to eye. Luckily, there was one thing that brought us together. Our shared love for food. Mom could eat for 3, and I could cook.
Just perfect.
I would watch cooking tutorials of celebrity chef Stephanie Roosevelt at her restaurant. Cooking was my passion, just like it was for Stephanie. I dreamed of owning my own restaurant after culinary school. But one day, I realized that Mom had other plans for me.
Eating your meals always makes my day.
Thanks. Mom, you've never asked me what I want to do in the future.
I don't need to.
What do you mean? Anyway, I have applied to several culinary
school? Just because you can cook?
I love it. I see how you light up when you eat my food. I want others to feel that too.
Be a chef just to serve others your whole life? Don't be ridiculous.
But it makes me happy.
Don't stress about it. I said no.
No matter how many times I begged and tried to convince her, she kept saying no. So I started secretly practicing my cooking and applied to my dream culinary school behind her back. And to my surprise, I got accepted. I was determined to go, and even without Mom's support, I had my plans. By the way, Mom's out on a work trip today, so I quickly did an auction of everything in my name. My car, some of my designer clothes, and shoes. I got enough money that would take me through school for at least the first year if I was smart about it. And with that, I left for my new life. I got an apartment, but moving wasn't a walk in the park. Mom was relentless with the messages.
You're so ungrateful. Don't come crawling back when you realize how tough it is out there. Audrey, please, where are you?
I missed her, but I couldn't go back to that life. She wouldn't let me pursue my dreams. I had my peace of mind here. But the peace of mind did not last. Paying for school and living costs was too much. The money I made from selling my stuff was quickly running out, so I had to find a job to prove to Mom that I made the right choice, and I wasn't a quitter. That's when I saw a guy sneaking up on a lady.
Ah! Help!
I couldn't just stand there and watch someone get hurt, so I dashed towards them, taking the guy down like a sack of potatoes. Are you okay? But the moment I looked at the lady I saved, I couldn't believe it. No way! Stephanie Roosevelt? She was the popular chef I secretly adored.
Yeah, that's me. And who are you? Is this a setup by two crazy fans to get my attention?
What? No, I was just helping. The guy scrambled up and ran away. Instinctively, I grabbed a rock and bullseye. He collapsed, and minutes later, the police took him away.
Thanks for saving me. Are you like a martial arts master or something? You're looking for work? Maybe I could hire you to be my personal bodyguard and keep freaks like him away. Name your price.
It was tempting. I mean, who wouldn't want to be close to their idol? But I had to tell her my dream. This could be a big opportunity, but I was running out of time because people were starting to recognize Stephanie and she was becoming uncomfortable. Thanks, but I'm not really into bodyguarding stuff. In fact, I'm a big fan and learning to be a master chef just like you. Maybe instead of being your bodyguard, I could be a chef in training at your restaurant? In response, she took out a card and handed it to me.
Why don't you come over to my restaurant tomorrow at 5 p.m.? We'll talk about it.
I couldn't believe my luck. Meeting Stephanie in person was like a dream come true, and it seemed like it wouldn't be the last. The moment 4 p.m. clocked the next day, I rushed out and took a cab straight to Stephanie's restaurant. I was so excited at the thought of working in her restaurant. Hello?
Audrey, you made it!
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
You're welcome. Now follow me, you low-class citizen. Are you talking to me? Do you see anyone else in the room? Now come on, let me show you where you'll be working.
That should have been my cue to walk out on her. But I didn't, and things just went downhill from there. Instead of assigning me to work in the kitchen, Stephanie assigned me to be a waitress. I thought I was going to work in the kitchen.
Ha! No way you'll be a chef here without any certification. Maybe after you graduate.
But you said,
of course I said that. People were filming. Maybe if you pass the test and your school is a great chef, then I might consider giving you the kitchen position.
I was so mad that Stephanie didn't keep her word, but I stuck it out. I needed the experience for my own restaurant someday. Still, it wasn't easy. Stephanie's real-life personality was nothing like the one she showed on the screen. She was mean to her entire staff.
This table isn't sparkly enough. You're fired.
She found fault in everything and kept firing people.
Not tasty enough. You're fired.
Everyone seemed used to it. They didn't fight back because they needed the job. But soon, I couldn't keep my cool anymore. One day, I went to sign off after my shift and walked right into her throwing a glass of juice at Aurora, the youngest waitress at our restaurant.
I said orange juice, not pineapple.
I knew she was strict, but this kind of rudeness was too much to take. The image of my idol shattered into pieces. Does that justify throwing juice at her? You can't treat people like that.
Who are you to tell me how to treat my staff? You want some juice too?
She threw the rest of the juice at me, and again, my overactive defensive reflexes were activated. The juice returned to the owner in grand style. No thanks.
You're fired! Both of you!
Don't bother firing me. I quit. I'm done working for you. Even though I got fired, I left the restaurant as a hero in the eyes of my colleagues for standing up to Stephanie. I refused to let it be the end of my journey, so I kept learning at culinary school. Just before our graduation, we had a cooking competition that would determine our starting badge in the world of chefs. But I didn't know that the real nightmare was about to walk through that door.
So for this competition, you will have 3 judges to test your food and pass judgment. One of them is...
I wanted to faint when I saw Stephanie was one of the judges.
Stephanie Roosevelt, CEO of Hungry Bear Diner. She'll be judging your presentation.
My heart was racing. I could definitely feel her sabotaging me, trying to ruin my chances of graduating. What could I do?
Your time starts now.
I did my best to not let the tension I felt with Stephanie around show. The clock ticked as each contestant prepared and I gave it my all. Soon we had to start dishing out our food. When no one was looking, I slipped off my apron, praying the plan I had just cooked up would work.
Time up! Leave the room. Everybody, Stephanie will now go in and check your presentation.
All students filed out behind the instructor, and I was the last to leave. Suddenly, I remembered I had forgotten something. Oh no! I forgot my apron! Please let me go get it!
Hurry up before she gets here.
I rushed into the room looking for something that didn't really have to do with my apron. Then I slipped back out just before Stephanie went in, hoping that what I did would be enough to save 2 years of sacrifice and hard work. From someone so petty. The moment she was done checking the food presentation, it was time for the judging proper. When it got to my turn, the judges spat it out the moment it touched their tongue.
What is this?
Irish lamb stew with,
we have eyes! We're asking why it tastes like you dumped an entire salt shaker in there. Are you trying to poison us?
I took one look at Stephanie and I knew she was behind it. However, I had my own card to play. I never added this much salt to my food.
And how do we know that?
I saw this coming, so I made a backup dish. The whole room burst into chatter as the judges began tasting my new dish.
Whoa, this is delicious! Impressive blend of ingredients. How did you—
Surprised? Going back for my apron was just a cover. I hid an untouched plate of my food, just in case someone tried to pull a stunt. And guess what? You didn't disappoint.
I didn't do anything. That's a serious accusation, young lady. You better have—
Evidence? Oh, I do. When I said I went back for my apron, I had dished an extra plate. Yes, but I had also crawled into the vent and planted my phone there to record whatever she did during her presentation check. Everyone was shocked when they saw evidence of her foul play.
You tried to ruin this girl's meal?
The room exploded with chaos as reporters rushed in to interview Stephanie. And just like that, the sweet, angelic Stephanie Roosevelt was exposed for the witch she really was. I didn't win first place, but I did win second. And most importantly, I proved I belonged in this world. With some of the prize money from the competition, I opened my own restaurant right after graduation. I hired every ex-employee of Stephanie's who was ready for a fresh start, and I felt things couldn't get any better. But on the restaurant's opening day, heaven had one more surprise waiting for me. Something far more meaningful than I ever imagined.
Mom! Audrey! I saw the competition on the news. You were incredible. I'm sorry for not supporting your dreams. I just wanted to say I'm proud of you for following your heart, and I miss you.
Was I hearing right? This was the same woman who used to say emotions were distractions and that money was everything. But before I could even respond, a masked thief rushed into the restaurant.
Everybody get down now! Phones, wallet, jewelry!
While everyone panicked, Mom and I stayed calm, which only made the thief more irritated.
You! Yeah, you in the apron! Hand over your phone!
Oh, my phone? Sure, come and get it. He reached out to snatch the phone, and that's when it happened. In a lightning-fast move, I grabbed his arm and flipped the thief over the table, disarming him and pinning him to the ground with one knee. Everyone cheered for me, but it was the smile on my mom's face that made me feel the proudest.
Well, at least all those years of Taekwondo didn't go to waste.
At that moment, I realized I didn't have to choose. I could be both the fighter and the chef. My strength and my passion weren't at odds. They were my superpower.
I want to meet Mr. Garcia. It's important, I told the receptionist. She looked at me confused and said, Sorry, but no one under that name works here. What? But he's the company director. The receptionist gave me this bewildered look, then firmly said, I'm sorry, but no one under that name works in this company. Maybe you've got the wrong building. Fine. If she wouldn't help me, then I'd find him myself. Miss, wait! You're not authorized to go there! Unfortunately, I didn't get very far before 2 guards raced over and pulled me away. As I tried struggling free, I yelled out, This is ridiculous! I'm your director's girlfriend! Suddenly, a smart-looking man appeared in front of me and calmly said, Madam, are you looking for Austin Garcia? Yes, I nodded. The man sighed, then continued. Austin did work here, but I fired him months ago. I have no place for someone with such lazy, carefree attitude in my company. I stared at this man open-mouthed. Oh no, so he was the director, not Austin. So, my boyfriend had been lying to me from the start? When the guards led me out of the building, I saw people gawping at me, and I overheard one of them say, Oh my God, another gullible girl got scammed? This couldn't be happening to me. Austin was my super successful, rich and handsome boyfriend. There must have been some mistake. He couldn't possibly have scammed me. Could he? I was showing my housemate Sarah the amazing designer bag Austin bought me when he walked into the room and slouched onto the couch. Okay, so what was with his glum look? Babe, it's just that my company has this big project on. I invested $100,000 already, with a 5 times return expected by the end of the year. Wow, what a huge project. I felt so proud to have such a perfect boyfriend. But then he lowered his voice. Yeah, looks like I'm gonna have to bail on it. I widened my eyes and asked, Why? What's up? I need to contribute another $50,000 by the end of the week, but I'm still $10,000 short. I blurted out, I can help. He shook his head. Babe, I can't expect you to do that. Besides, where would you find that amount of money from at such short notice? I'll borrow it from my friends or something. Don't you believe your girlfriend can do it? I winked at him. He kissed my forehead and then with a huge smile on his face, told me I was the best girlfriend ever. After I counted up my savings and student loan, I was still a few thousand short. So, I told a couple of my friends that my parents had been in an accident and I needed money urgently to pay for their hospital fees. I know lying was lame, but I'd pay them back soon, so what would it matter, right? But then a week after I'd given Austin the money, he showed up at my house looking completely bummed out. He told me he'd met an unexpected problem and now he needed another $15,000, else he'd lose everything. I wanted to help him, but I had no one left to borrow money from. I thought he'd be understanding, but instead he just said, "You can borrow money from a loan shark. Then in a month, we can pay it back." I gave him a confused look and asked him why he didn't get the loan himself. He stroked my hair and in a soothing voice said, "I would if I could, Hannah, but you're a student, so your interest rates will be much lower than mine." That made sense. Plus, we were going to be together forever anyway. So what did it matter who took the loan out? So that same day, I borrowed the rest of the money from a loan shark and handed it over to Austin. "Hannah!" a voice shouted, which startled me from my thoughts. "Hannah, give me back my money. I need it urgently." My friend Rachel glared at me. I felt so flustered as I blurted out, "Soon. A few days, I promise." She rolled her eyes at me. "Yeah, whatever. Poof! I thought you had a rich boyfriend, right? Why don't you ask him to help you out?" I forced a smile and repeatedly told her I'd pay her back soon. This was so embarrassing, and now my friend hated me. Ugh! It was all that jerk Austin's fault. The truth was that as soon as I handed him the money, well, he disappeared. His online accounts, number, everything. All gone. I even found out that the house he claimed to be his was actually just some Airbnb rental. Oh, and the designer bag he bought me? Fake! The next day, I was walking to my lecture when I heard two girls talking to each other. Hannah owes people loads of money, but won't pay it back. Isn't she always boasting about having a boyfriend? I lowered my head and hurried past them. This was so humiliating. I needed to figure out a way of finding that jerk Austin and making him give me my money back. Oh, who could that be? Maybe it was Austin with a perfectly reasonable explanation for everything. I ran to the door and opened it. Oh, it's just some strange girl. "Where is Austin? Tell him to come out here now!" she yelled. "And you are?" "His victim! He tricked me into giving him all of my savings!" She pushed past me and stormed inside. "Austin, stop hiding from me and come out!" I pulled the girl's arm and asked, "Hold up, he also tricked you?" She looked at me with wide eyes. Oh gosh, Austin's such a pro scammer! After that, we sat down and she explained everything. Turns out she's called Leah, and Austin scammed her out of $50,000. OMG, that was so much money! Austin is a real jerk. Suddenly, my housemate Sarah and her boyfriend Weston walked in. "Hey, look! I won this Tales of Suspense Volume 39 in the horse race bet the other day. You know, it's super rare." Weston was so excited showing Sarah his new precious comic book, while I forced a smile at them both, then quickly dragged Leah up to my room. There's no way I wanted Sarah knowing that I'd been scammed. Entering my room, Leah suddenly said, "Hey, do you want your money back?" I nodded. "Of course I do, but now I don't even know where he is." She gave me this sly smile as she told me how Austin adored the Marvel Universe, and that comic Weston had could be used to lure him in. So we went downstairs, waited for Sarah to go into the other room, then we asked Weston for his help. At first he refused, but then we offered to split the money with him 3 ways. Eventually, Weston agreed, and so, game on! Starting off, Weston posted it on a comic book marketplace for half the price it was worth. Only $150,000! Unsurprisingly, it wasn't long before that snake Austin slithered into his messages. Great! We arrived at the meeting spot super early and hid behind a bush. 30 minutes later, and Austin still hadn't shown up, and I had a dead arm. Ouch! I whispered to Leah, "Do you think our plan was leaked?" She grabbed my shoulder and shushed me. Austin had arrived. He took ages to check the book, really carefully. When they finished the exchange, I jumped out of the bush and shouted, "Austin! There you are! Where's my money?" His eyes widened in terror, and he quickly tried to run off the other way. But Leah jumped out in front of him. She sneered and rolled up her sleeves, stepping towards him. "There is nowhere for you to run, jerk!" Austin was terrified and stepped back. Then I ran up behind him and snatched the comic out of his hand. "Girls, look! He turned pale and immediately turned and hurried away. He even lost a shoe en route, but he didn't dare to stop to pick it up. It was so hilarious watching him hobble off. Thank you so much, Leah. It felt so good to get revenge. Anytime. We clinked our glasses together. Girl power and all. Ugh, my head hurts so bad. Where's Leah? I guess she must have gone home. I went over to my closet. Where's the backpack with my money in it? I frantically turned my room upside down looking for it. Could it be? I called Leah, but there was no answer. That was it. Leah and Austin were definitely the same. Why did I have to be such a gullible idiot? There was a loud banging on the door, so I opened it. 2 huge guys were standing there.
"Hey, beautiful. Pay us back soon, or else."
Then they left. I freaked out, not knowing what to do. Find Leah and Austin? It's futile. I know it. So I started working like crazy. I delivered newspapers and milk in the mornings, then waitressed most evenings. I was so exhausted, but I had to find a way to pay off my debt before I drowned in it. Then one morning, Sarah came downstairs to find me asleep, face down on my piece of toast. She gently shook me awake, then told me she'd got me a paid intern job at her uncle's hospital. Yay! Thanks, Sarah. You're the best. The first day at my new job went well, so I decided to reward myself with a bagel and hot chocolate in the canteen. That's when I walked straight past her. Leah! She spotted me, too, and ran off, but I chased her into a dead end. "Where's my money?" "I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry," she sobbed out. Then she told me how the night that we'd been celebrating, she'd received some bad news. Her brother was in an accident and needed emergency surgery. Panicked, she took the money for his hospital bills. "Are you tricking me? This is 100% true." She wiped at her tears. Maybe I felt a little bit sorry for her. But no, what she did wasn't cool. Besides, she could be lying to me. I mean, I did also use the ill relative's excuse to get money off my friends. So I dragged her to reception to check. Turns out she's telling the truth. Her brother is in a coma and the bills are obviously very expensive. What Leah did sucks, but she's all her brother has. So I guess I can kinda understand why she did that. So it looks like I've got to continue working my butt off for now. That weekend, I was about to leave for work when I opened the door to see those thugs back again. They shoved past me and started picking up valuables. I shouted at them to stop and that I'd get their money to them soon, but they didn't listen to me. Then they picked up Sarah's laptop. Oh no! Right at that moment, Leah showed up and demanded they stop right now. Then she proceeded to pay them what I owed them. Huh? What? How did she have the money? Well, it turns out Leah's brother woke up from his coma. They talked, and she found out his specific research had just won first prize in a nationwide competition. So he gave her the prize money and told her to pay off my debt. I was so ecstatic. I flung my arms around her and kept on saying thank you. Now I was debt-free. Phew! I could finally pay my friends back and put all of this behind me. Huh? What was that? We both looked outside. Isn't that Austin? But why does he look so frazzled? Oh, turns out 5 angry-looking girls are chasing after him. I looked at Leah, then we both burst out laughing. And that, guys, is karma. Hey! I've been trying to find you at school today. I have big news, and it's bad. Real bad! Don't leave me hanging. Mom says we're defo moving to California by the end of the month. What? No way! That's a 2-day drive from here. Yeah, I know. But Mom's marrying David. The same David that's scared of spiders, cockroaches, and everything? Yeah, that guy. He's been trying to get her attention for ages, sending her flowers, playing the guitar on her porch. Then last week, he even climbed up the oak tree so he could hand her flowers through the bedroom window. Okay, that's kind of creepy. Ew. Tell me about it. But you know, the worst part is, I have to transfer to another school. No. Lisa couldn't move away. Who would I sit with at lunch? Who would I watch corny movies with? Ugh, we've been besties for years. We couldn't just be separated like this. No one would ever understand me like she did. We were like 2 halves of a whole. Her dad had passed away, so she only had her mom, while I only had my dad. And yep, that's my amazing dad. It's been just me and him for the past 10 years. I still remember that afternoon when my mom took her suitcase and left with another man. After that, me and Dad moved back here, to our hometown, New Hampshire. It's only when I got a little older that I found out Mom and her lover scammed Dad out of everything. So Dad's been working his butt off to open his own repair garage to provide for us both ever since. It isn't fair. My dad's a hero, and he deserves to be with a better woman. Hold on. Yes, he deserves a better one. And who wouldn't be better than Lisa's mom? I needed to tell Lisa about my plan right now, so I immediately ran to my room and phoned her. Girl, I have the most genius plan ever to keep you and your mom here with me. Please, I'm all ears. Anything. I really don't want to move to Cali. Okay, listen. Let's set your mom up with my dad. He's a good guy, and that means we'll be sisters. We both squealed excitedly. Lisa always wanted to have a dad. A nice one, not that David creep. Ugh! I could see the envy in her eyes when I spoke about the funny pranks I played on my dad. Well, in contrast, my heart ached whenever she told me about the girly pamper days she had with her mom. Okay, first, research is important. We spent all night looking up their horoscopes, name astrology calculator, and even physiognomy. Whoa, they're a 98% match! But hey, nothing is perfect, right? Me and Lisa would make up for the missing 2%. The next day, we were both zombies due to the lack of sleep. But at least a proper plan had been set. I told Lisa to tell her mom, Mary, to come around on Saturday for my birthday. Yeah, it's not actually my birthday, but she's a presenter for a big news channel, so she's super busy. We needed to make up some special occasion, so she couldn't say no. Then I told my dad to prepare his signature dish to welcome my special guests. There's no way Mary could resist. That day, I was helping Dad with the ingredients when I heard the doorbell. I opened the door to see Lisa standing there with a pink frosted birthday cake. And by her side was her mom. Happy birthday, sweetie. This one's for you. Oh, something smells good. And so familiar. She continued. Hello? Mary? Jack? Why are you here? For Aaron's birthday? And you?
I'm her father, and FYI, today isn't her birthday.
Yeah, jerk. Mary said under her breath while rolling her eyes.
Excuse me? You dumped me for no reason, so what's that attitude?
Oh, really? For no reason? My eyes darted from Dad to Mary. Huh? Why were they yelling at each other? This was very confusing, but I could guess that they used to date? OMG, what a small world! Okay, whatever, 'cause it's lunchtime now. And wow, Dad's legendary meatloaf smelled amazeballs. We sat down, and Mary glared at Dad as she took a bite of food. Then she blurted out, "Oh wow, I guess some things never change, huh? Your food is still super salty."
Oh, really? But as I recall, someone still asked for seconds. Unbelievable.
Excuse me, but do you know each other? Lisa innocently interrupted. There was an awkward silence. Then Dad said,
Yeah, we do. But this is the first time I've seen Mary since we broke up, right after I visited her studio for the first time.
Mary looked flustered as she replied,
Lisa, you shouldn't have tricked me into coming here. Finish your food, then we're leaving.
On hearing this, Dad ordered Lisa and me up to my room so he could talk to Mary in private. Only we hid behind the couch and listened in. Turns out, on that day, Mary took my dad to the studio to watch her first filming as a news presenter. After that, she'd passed by the waiting room and overheard Dad talking to someone.
I clearly heard that person ask you how I looked, and you said I was still the same old Mary. Do you have any idea that I spent 2 hours in makeup and was excited to show you?
Dad tried to chime in, but Mary wouldn't give him a sec.
Worse still, later you even told them you were over the moon I wouldn't be your girlfriend for much longer. Thus, to intercept that, I had to break up with you first.
Oh my. So my dad was a playboy or something? Lisa and I swapped confused looks, then continued watching the show. My dad was dumbfounded, and then he said in a helpless voice,
Oh, Mary, things were not like that. I said that you look the same because you're always as beautiful as the day I met you. And about the other thing...
Yeah?
I prepared a ring to propose to you, so you'd no longer be my girlfriend, but my wife.
What? So they broke up because of an absurd misunderstanding and lost contact since then. Jeez, I thought adults were meant to know what they were doing. It sure didn't seem like it at times. Mary gave Dad an awkward smile, and they said that they could be friends. Then she told him about David and how she was marrying him on the 22nd of December. No! We couldn't let this happen. There had to be another way of getting them together. But that road was full of thorns and spikes, especially when Dad dropped a bombshell. His new girlfriend, Lucy. A few days later, when I was working on my art project, Dad walked into the room with her. Excuse me? She was wearing this super tight bodycon dress and had at least 7 layers of makeup on. Ugh. Then she even dared to pick up the photo of me with Mom and smirked. Oh, how nice. I rushed over to her, snatched it out of her hands and shouted, "Keep off my things! I don't like you!" She immediately glared at me. But then seeing Dad coming down from upstairs, she suddenly smiled and hugged me while whispering in my ear, "You don't, but you have to." Jeez, what a poisonous snake. But worse, when she left, Dad had this dumb grin on his face, and then he actually asked if I wanted her to be my new mom. Oh no, she'd hypnotized him for sure. In a rush, I called Lisa to tell her about it. She came up with the idea of asking her mom to join us at the Christmas market this week. Bummer. She refused. Apparently she had too much wedding planning to do. Ugh. And if you're thinking it couldn't get worse, then Dad invited Lucy along. So Lisa asked her mom to let her stay with me for a few days, so we could teach this Lucy some lessons. May the pranking commence. That morning, Lucy showed up in this fancy light blue dress and ordered Dad to get her a chocolate-covered waffle.
What a shame. I accidentally knocked it all over her outfit. Oops! Then a fake fly somehow fell into her hot chocolate. Her eyes almost bulged out of her head when she drank that. But she just gave us a cunning smirk, then grabbed Dad's arm and cuddled close to him. Unbelievable! But you know, diamond cuts diamond. When Dad went to the restroom, with sparkling eyes, I said, "Lucy, I really admire a nice person like you. My dad's only a mechanic with $1,500 a month, but you still love him." So this isn't true. He ran his own business. But anyway. No way! He looks rich, though. Oh, he probably was just desperate to catch your attention. He bragged a little bit. And you're proud of that? That's not funny, sweetie. I am out of your dad's league. There's no way I'm putting up with a brat like you for such a poor man. Right at that moment, my dad returned and, no surprises, they broke up. Now she was out of the picture, Dad was free to win Mary over, right? We three went home, and I noticed that Dad was acting weird. He kept on pacing by the door. Then, when Mary arrived to pick Lisa up, he leapt to open it and blurted out to her, "Have you thought any more about us?" She didn't say anything, but I noticed them exchanging these sorry looks. Their love for each other was so obviously real, as they knew each other since they had nothing. Yet they weren't doing anything about it. It was already December 20th, meaning there were only 2 days left till the wedding day. I couldn't let our plan fail like this. I immediately grabbed my phone to call Lisa, but the ringing was next to me. She'd left her phone at my house. Dang! Then the next morning, I walked by her house to go to school as usual, but no one was home, and she wasn't at school either. Oh my, had they moved to David's already? I told Dad this right away when I got home. He thought for a second and asked me to get in the car ASAP to go to California. So our bumper 2-day road trip began. When we reached the wedding venue, it was empty. Oh no, we were too late. Dad looked devastated, so I put my arm around him and started to lead him out of there. But then the receptionist appeared and said, "Oh, didn't they let you know either? The wedding's been canceled." Dad's face lit up, and we both raced over to the car and started the long drive back. Oh, it felt like ages in the car, and now it was just 2 hours until Christmas Eve. The roads were full of beautiful Christmas decorations. I looked through the windows and saw people gathering with their families, while Dad and I were driving nonstop. How sad. We drove straight to Lisa and Mary's, but they were out, so we sat in the freezing cold on their doorstep and waited. Dad dozed off, his head resting on my shoulder. Bless. Then I saw them walking towards us. Oh man, you should have seen their shocked faces. I shook Dad awake, and he looked over at Mary. She dropped her bags and looked at us astonished. Then Lisa told us the whole story. Turns out, on the way to California, they met 2 amateur robbers who forced them to get out of the car. Mary immediately pounded them with her handbag, while David ran off and hid behind a tree with Lisa. When the robbers scampered off, Mary told David everything from the bottom of her heart. That although David was wealthy, that was not what she wanted. Instead, she just needed a man who could support and protect her. She'd been flattered by his gestures of love, touched by his persistence, and thought that love could be cultivated. But things weren't as simple as that. So they broke up, and the wedding was canceled. Dad and I were stunned. Then, with eyes prickled with tears, my dad said, "Mary, I'm sorry for letting you go. But it's not too late, is it?" Right after, he pulled the old ring from that day out of his pocket and got down on one knee and said, "Mary, will you marry me?" She cried out, "Yes!" Both Lisa and I were bursting with happiness. So now we both have a mom and a dad, and we're pretty much sisters. Yay! This is the warmest Christmas ever.